Juris Vodcast with Scott Pearce.
Do you think it's fair for a government prosecutor to use scientific reports against a criminal defendant without giving the defendant a chance to cross-examine the person who wrote the report? Believe it or not, 42 states, plus the District of Columbia, currently allow prosecutors to get away with exactly this practice. Luis Melendez-Diaz was arrested in Boston for allegedly trafficking in cocaine. The substance seized from him was tested by a state chemist and found to be cocaine. At trial, the prosecutor didn't have to authenticate the report by bringing the chemist to testify. The Confrontation Clause is the constitutional guarantee that a criminal defendant has a right to challenge, in court, all of the prosecution's witnesses. It seems obvious that the defendant should be able to challenge in court the author of a scientific report that is extremely prejudicial to the defense. In the case at bar, Mr. Melendez-Diaz doesn't want the jury to take the report at face value. He argues that he should be allowed to put the author on the stand and ask questions about testing, how the evidence was preserved, and other issues. Even the FBI crime lab has been shown to have severe lapses. The only way to keep the government honest is to require them to meet their burden of proof. Here's the dry technical issue. There's no doubt that the chemist's report is highly prejudicial to the defendant. But is it testimonial? The Confrontation Clause only requires the defendant to confront adverse testimony. A closer look at the law reveals a lot of conflicting authority on this subject. That's reason enough for the Supreme Court to take this case. In a criminal case, the prosecution must be required to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, every element of every charge. In a tax case, you wouldn't expect the government to be able to submit an accounting report without giving the defendant a chance to cross-examine the accountant who is responsible for the analysis. In a drug case, prosecutors shouldn't be allowed to present a chemical analysis without giving the defendant a chance to cross-examine the chemist who wrote it.
Juris Vodcast is a production of Nuclear Podcasting. Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives.